Asterisk disclaimer. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. My name is Erin Vale. I'm 34, a corrections officer turned undercover operative. And I think I'm losing the man I once swore I could never live without. People assume danger comes in the form of knives or riots. But the kind that really guts you comes quietly, like distance in a shared bed. Before I took the undercover assignment at Iron Ridge Penitentiary, my life felt whole. Safe. Even sexy, in the way that long-term love is slow-burning, warm. Nate, my husband, used to trace circles on my spine in bed and whisper, "You're still the best part of my day." I used to believe him. I used to believe in us. But something shifted. Maybe it was the 2 months I spent pretending to be someone else inside a prison, lying for a living, holding my breath every time a door slammed shut. Or maybe it started before that, the nights he kissed me but his lips felt more habitual than hungry. The way his hands on my waist no longer sent sparks, just pressure. The night before I left for the assignment, he wrapped his arms around me in the kitchen while I was chopping onions. I remember his chest pressing against my back, his hands slipping under my shirt. It was supposed to feel comforting. But instead, it felt like a question I didn't know how to answer. I pulled away and said I was tired. He said, "You're always tired." And I didn't know how to tell him I wasn't tired of life. I was tired of pretending it still felt like love. That was the first time I realized something between us was unraveling. And I didn't know if I was strong enough to stitch it back together. Nate thought I came back the same woman. He had dinner ready the night I returned. Steak, red wine, candles. The works. It should have made me feel cherished. But instead, I felt like a stranger wearing my own skin. He reached for my hand across the table, thumb brushing my knuckles. "You're home now," he whispered, as if saying it made it true. And maybe it was, for him. But I wasn't sure where home was anymore. I smiled. Not because I meant it, but because I didn't know how to say, "I'm still pretending." Even here. The problem wasn't that he didn't try. Nate showed love the only way he knew how: long kisses in the morning, suggestive texts while I unpacked, his hands always finding my hips when we passed in the hallway. But it all felt out of sync. Like we were dancing to different songs. He wanted me physically, badly. I could feel it in how his kisses lingered, how his eyes scanned me like they missed the parts beneath my clothes. But I needed something else. I needed him to see me. To ask how it felt to be locked in a cell, how the inmates looked at me, how it changed me. But instead, when I brought up the assignment, he winced. "I don't really want to think about you in there," he said. "Let's just move on." Move on. As if fear didn't follow me home. As if I could just unzip the experience and hang it in the closet. He kissed me later that night, long and deep, with hands that knew every inch of me. But I just lay there, frozen. Because he touched my body, but never once asked how my heart was holding up. That silence between us started to feel louder than any prison door I'd ever heard slam. It's strange how fast your own body can stop feeling like yours. I stood in the bathroom, towel wrapped around me, steam clouding the mirror. I could hear Nate in the bedroom, drawers opening, his bare feet on the floorboards. We were supposed to go out. A reconnection night, he called it. I was doing my makeup, halfway through mascara, when he walked in and gave my ass a playful slap. "Damn, you still got it," he grinned. I flinched. Not visibly, I think. But inside, my stomach tightened like a coil. I forced a laugh, eyes fixed on my reflection. I wanted to respond the way I used to, tease him back, press a kiss to his jaw, pull him close. But the truth was, I didn't feel sexy. I felt raw, like a bruise that hadn't healed. He wrapped his arms around my waist, chin resting on my shoulder. His touch was familiar. Too familiar. And yet it felt like something I couldn't quite sink into anymore. "Let's just skip dinner," he murmured, lips grazing my neck. "Stay in. Order something. You, me, no clothes." I swallowed hard. My voice came out thin. I'd rather just go. He pulled back, confused. Are you mad at me or something? I turned to face him, mascara wand still in hand, lashes half done. No. I'm just tired. He stared for a beat too long before walking out. But I wasn't just tired. I was empty. And no amount of kisses or sex could fill the space where being seen was supposed to live. Later that night, he reached for me in bed. I let him kiss me, but I barely moved. I stared at the ceiling, thinking the thing I didn't dare say aloud. Why does everything have to turn into sex? It happened over takeout. Chinese food. General Tso's chicken for him, vegetable lo mein for me, though I barely touched it. We were watching some crime drama on Netflix, something he picked. I wasn't really paying attention. My head was a fog of thoughts I'd shoved down all week. On screen, a female detective was interrogating a suspect. She had this steely calm, cool, in control. Nate glanced over and said, "That could be you. You're hotter, though." He meant it as a compliment. I know that. But something in me snapped. Do you even hear yourself? I muttered, dropping my chopsticks into the carton. What? He asked, startled. You watch this and reduce me to hotter. You don't ask what it was really like. You don't care what I went through. He sat up straighter, defensive now. Jesus, Aaron. I told you, I don't want to think about you in that place. That's the problem. My voice cracked. You can't even handle the idea of what I lived through, and I had to survive it. He blinked, stunned. I shared a cell with a woman who carved names into her arms, I whispered. I watched a guard turn his back while another inmate got dragged down the hallway. I didn't sleep for days, and I had to pretend I was okay the whole time. But when I came back, all you wanted was to screw me and call it reconnection. He looked away, jaw tense. I didn't know you felt that way. No, I said, standing up now, heart pounding. You didn't know. Because every time I tried to talk, you shut down. Or kissed me. Or changed the subject. He was silent. And then, quietly, I just wanted you to come home and be okay. I started to cry. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet, steady tears that wouldn't stop. I'm not okay, Nate, I whispered. And I don't know how to be not when the one person I thought would see me keeps pretending this is normal. He reached for me. But I stepped back. Because in that moment, touch felt like another mask I had to wear. And I was so tired of pretending. The days after that blow-up were quieter than prison nights. We still moved through the motions, coffee in the morning, groceries on Sundays, folded laundry in the hallway. But we barely spoke unless we had to. The silence between us wasn't tense anymore. It was hollow. He started sleeping on the edge of the bed, his back to me. I missed his warmth, but I didn't reach for it. I wasn't sure if I had the right. One night, I walked into the living room and found him sitting in the dark, scrolling through old photos on his phone. I saw a picture of us, laughing at the beach, salt in our hair, sand on his lips. He didn't see me watching. He looked tired. Not physically, emotionally. Like he was grieving something that hadn't even died yet. I wanted to go to him. I wanted to curl up next to him and tell him I still loved him, that I missed the way we used to be. But my mouth stayed shut. Because love isn't always enough. Not when trust and understanding is gone. Instead, I stood behind the wall, unseen. Like I had in that cell so many nights, hidden in plain sight. When I finally crawled into bed alone that night, I stared at the ceiling again. The same ceiling I'd memorized during so many disconnected kisses. I whispered, I don't know how to get back to you. The truth was, I didn't know if he wanted me back, not the real me. The woman shaped by secrets, by silence, by the weight of everything I couldn't unsee. But I knew I had a choice to make. Try and risk rejection. Or walk away and risk never being known again. And God help me. I didn't know which would hurt more. It was raining the night we finally spoke. I came home late from a debriefing, soaked through, exhausted, and emotionally numb. The house was dim, quiet except for the low hum of the dishwasher. I didn't expect him to be awake. But there he was, sitting at the edge of the couch in the glow of the lamp, his hoodie pulled over his head, eyes bloodshot like he hadn't slept in days. "I didn't know how to love you after," he said quietly before I could even take off my coat. I froze. "You were different," he went on, voice shaking. "You came back, harder, distant. And I didn't know what to do with that version of you. So that it made me feel useless." We sat there, neither speaking, both unraveling slowly. The silence between us wasn't hollow this time. It was careful, honest. He reached out, not for sex, not for reassurance. Just to hold my hand. His thumb brushed mine, gentle and deliberate. I didn't pull away. "I don't know how to fix this," I whispered. "Me either," he said. "But I don't want to give up on you." So we sat there in the quiet, my hand in his, the sound of rain hitting the windows like breath held too long. No dramatic kiss. No fireworks. Just a beginning. And maybe, for now, that was enough. I used to think love was about holding on. Fighting. Pushing through. Staying even when everything inside you was screaming to run. I thought that's what made a relationship strong. But after Iron Ridge, after pretending to be someone else for weeks, surrounded by lies and violence and walls that never let in light, I came back unsure of who I even was anymore. And Nate, the man I'd built my world around, couldn't reach me the way he used to. The thing no one tells you is that trauma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just silences you. Makes you harder to touch. Makes the people who love you feel like strangers in your own home. But here's what I learned. Intimacy isn't just about bodies colliding in bed. It's about truth. About asking the hard questions and sitting with the uncomfortable answers. About saying, "I don't understand you right now, but I want to. We're still figuring it out." There are nights we lie side by side and say nothing, and others where we talk until sunrise. The sex isn't like it was, and honestly, maybe that's okay. Maybe love isn't about getting back to how it was. Maybe it's about choosing each other as we are now. Scars and all. So no, I didn't imagine I'd come out of that prison carrying a secret that had nothing to do with the inmates. The real secret was this. Sometimes, the distance in your own bed is scarier than a locked cell. But if you're lucky, and if both of you are willing to stop pretending, you can still find a way back. Not to who you were, but to who you're brave enough to become together.